Well, hello there. It is Kira from Kira from Dreamcaps and the Warehouse 13 fan channel. This is really irrelevant. Before I start, I want to say happy birthday to the Queen, Madonna. Oh, yeah. I love you. Okay. Moving on. So, this week's episode, Season 3, Episode 6, Don't Hate the Player, was super awesome. Like, more awesome than usual. Oh, wow, it was geeky. Anyway, it was another awesome Eureka crossover with Fargo, yay! And, well, this is kind of late news, but I don't know if you heard, but Eureka on Sci-Fi has been cancelled, which sucks majorly, and it's totally dumb because Eureka is, like, the shit, so, I'm sad. But they'll all have, like, jobs lining up for them, because they're awesome, yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to actually talk about the episode now. That's a good idea. So, Fargo had created this game with his friend, called The Braid. And, like, you hook up to, like, headphones in your hands and all this stuff, and it's like an alternate reality kind of game thing. So, Claudia and Pete and Micah are, you know, out doing stuff, and then all of a sudden, like, someone calls Claudia, and it's Fargo's friend. He's like, I don't know, Fargo just told me to call you if anything went wrong. And she's like, okay, so they went over there, and, like, Fargo and his friend, who are playing the game, are, like, having a seizure, and, like, they're like, oh, what the fuck do we do? So, they decided that they had to go into the game by using this artifact, and they were having the seizure and stuff because they got into the game, because of the artifact. Because, sorry, there's a lot of becauses, when they first created the game, it didn't work, and they couldn't sell it or anything, but then they found this, like, magic, I don't know if the tea was magic, or the teapot was magic, or the teacup, but something with the tea made it work, so, they went into the thing, but then, Claudia and Micah, well, Pete and Claudia, they had to go into the game, and Micah stayed out there with this, like, communicator that let her use the Farnsworth with Claudia and Pete while they were in the game. So Claudia was like this elf, and Pete was a gladiator and all that. And we went to the game, and it was basically like everything was based on the warehouse, which was kind of funny. So they were walking through, and there was like Sir Arthur or whatever, who was Artie, and they had to go like rescue some princess, but all they wanted to do was find Fargo. They had to, you know, yeah. But then later they realized that, I don't know if it was the game or the artifact, it like magnifies their fears, so everything they were afraid of would come into the game and be an obstacle for them. Like, when they found Fargo, he was like in quicksand, and that was what he was afraid of never getting out, and then they pulled him out and all that, and then, yeah, you know how it goes. And Lena was there too, and she was this magical angel thing, and she was like super awesome. She had her own dragon. I was like, that is bitchin'. Like, Lena should have her own dragon in real life. Wouldn't that be awesome? Anyway, so meanwhile, while they're doing their whole thing, Artie is with Jinx, and this dude like mysteriously fell out of a building, and he reportedly wasn't suicidal, so it was really weird. And then the freaking Southern FBI bitch lady came back, and I was like, no, because she's so annoying. I mean, I'm sure the actress is a very nice lady, but the character, oh my gosh, she's just annoying. Every time she's on the screen, I'm just like, go away. But anyway, she was there, and she was all like, well, I don't know what you guys do, but, you know, do your thing, and, you know, blah, blah. And then they were like, okay, well, you know, just go over there, and we'll, like, do this. And she's like, no, you have to include me, or I'm gonna kick you guys out of here. So then they were looking around, and they found this Van Gogh painting, and Artie said it was an artifact that, like, death followed it everywhere. So they had to steal it, so they came back later, and, like, Artie used all those cool tech stuff to, like, make the lasers disappear and stuff. They were about to steal it, but then there was the lady again! See the problem? Yeah, so she came and was all like, you need to be included and stuff, so she's like watching them, and they were like, well, you see, and death follows this painting, or they're trying to be secretive, and Jinx was being really bad at it. And then all of a sudden, like, she sneezed on the painting, and I guess, like, a breath of air, like, activates the artifact, power, you know, whatever. So then, like, they all started to, like, there was, like, a big gust of wind, and I don't know, it was crazy. They all almost died. But they were okay. Sorry, that's my phone. I didn't turn it on silent before recording this. But, anyway, so, yes, they almost died, and then they got the thing, but then all of a sudden, like, this leaf, like, took off Artie's thingy from the alarm thingy, and then the lasers came back on, and she, like, took the painting and, like, dove under this thing, and they were like, damn it! And then, okay, this is gonna be long. Then they go back to the video game, so Pete and Claudia and Micah and, Pete and Claudia are trying to, and with Fargo, they're trying to, you know, save the princess and find the friend, and then Micah realizes that, when they're trying to find the friend, like, one of the biggest fears of Fargo's friend is that he didn't propose to his ex-girlfriend, Hannah, who he was, like, in love with, but he couldn't get up the courage to propose, so they broke up, and so his ex-girlfriend in the video game was, like, this, like, freaky monster thing with, like, this big axe and stuff, and she was really scary, and, like, she had him tied up, and he was like, no, please, I'm sorry, I didn't propose, and then, right then, they didn't really realize what was going on, so they were just trying to, you know, figure out where to go, and they had lost the remote controls and all that, and then, of course, Pete was thinking about how terrible it would be to lose communication with Micah, and then the Farnsworth wouldn't work, and everything was going wrong, and then, this was, like, the worst part of the episode, like, I wanted to just, like, die. Like, so they were, I think they were, like, watching Fargo's friend, and he was getting tied up, and they were trying to figure out what to do, and all of a sudden Claudia was like, oh god, you know, like, when you're trying, like, the most to not think about something, and then all you can do is think about it, and Fargo was like, yeah, and then all of a sudden, this freaky doctor dude appears behind him, he's like, hello, Claudia, and then they're like, who's that? She's like, it's somebody, she looks all scared and all that, I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And then it was like, one of the doctors from the psychiatric ward that she was in, and so then all of a sudden, like, she's strapped to this bed, and, like, Pete and Fargo are being held by this weird dude in this mask, and he's like, this isn't real, Claudia, you need your treatment, Claudia, and he had this big stick with this, like, electric thing, and she was all strung out, she was just, like, crying, and she's like, no, please, and I wanted to die, I was like, oh, Claudia, it's so sad, and then, so she was tripping out, and nobody knew what to do, and he was about to do the thing, and then all of a sudden she overcame her fears, and she unstrapped herself from the bed, and she got up, she's like, you know what, I think you need some treatment, and then, or she was like, I feel better now, and then she, like, took the thing, and she put it over his head and killed him, and it was like, yeah, Claudia, bam! So, yeah, that was pretty awesome, but kind of sucked at the same time. So then, Micah was like, oh my god, it's the ex-girlfriend, and so she went inside the video game as well, and she was all, like, a dominatrix and stuff, and it was awesome, and then, like, Pete and Fargo distracted the monster thing, and then, Micah was like, dude, you gotta propose, or say how you feel, or whatever, and he was like, okay, so he could confront the fear, and, you know, they'd all get out and stuff, and then, so, he went up to the monster, and he was like, will you marry me, Hannah? And then she's like, oh my god, yes! So, yeah, or wait, was the princess thing before that? I don't even remember now. But anyway, it's not very significant, but the princess was Claudia. And it was pretty hilarious, because she was walking around. It didn't even sound like her voice, like, it was so weird. She was like, oh my gosh, you've all come to save me, oh my gosh! But, anyway, yeah. So then they won the game, and it was all cool. Then, it turns out that the evil Southern FBI lady, who, like, looked like she saved their asses from the police when they had him in the car, and she's like, oh no, they would be working on a case or whatever. So then, like, they took him out, but then they took the thing home and they put it in the dark vault, and then, like, all these bugs exploded from it, and I was like, oh shit. So now the warehouse is infested with a bunch of weird bugs, sabotaged by the evil Southern FBI lady, and I don't know what's gonna happen, so let's hope for the best. They'll figure it out. And lastly, the most awesome part of, like, the entire episode, hand motions, was Alison Scagliotti sung and played guitar at the same time. Because, I mean, we all know she can play guitar. But then she, like, Claudia got up at this open mic thing and she sang, like, this whole song on the acoustic guitar and it sounded, like, so freaking awesome. And I was like, yeah, you go, Allison, because it was awesome. Like, seriously. So, check it out, you know. Hopefully someone should put it on iTunes. That'd be awesome. So, yeah. Wow. This is, like, the longest one I've done in a long time. So, sorry, guys. But, yeah. Watch Sparkles 13 next week. Monday, Sci-Fi, 9 Central. Yeah, okay. Bye, guys!